Oh boy, we're here.
All right.
Let's do another episode. You're in front of me.
This is weird.
You're in the flesh. I could see you. I could touch you.
No, don't touch me. We're normally on the screen, but now we finally both made
live
it over.
and in studio.
Live and in color. Here we are. What's up, America? We're back for another great round. Round 27 special MURICA episode. Happy 4th of July. Steven, what are we drinking today?
We're drinking two staples of American beering. I just made that word up. Did you like it? We're drinking Yuengling, oldest craft brewery in America, oldest brewery in America, and Anchor Brewing, which is another one of the oldest craft breweries in America, largely credited with spawning the American craft beer boom in San Francisco. So that's what it is.
I mean, let's get this MURICA party started. Hey, Steven.
Hey, Gabe.
Let's grab a drink.
It's America's birthday.
In a few days. But we're celebrating early because...
Well, yeah, but the Hamilton film drops tomorrow, July 3rd.
Hamilton film is here. America's birthday.
Shoot off your fireworks like they have in both of our neighborhoods.
Like
every
they have
night.
been for the past 2.5 weeks.
And, get your red, white, and blue on, whatever that means to you.
I just realized I don't have a lot of red, white, and blue apparel. Like, I have red, white, and blue clothing, but, like, not all together.
They're weird colors to put together. I don't know what Betsy Ross was thinking.
Come on, Betsy.
Come on, get it together, Betsy. I feel the need to say that it's a weird year to celebrate the 4th of July.
'Tis indeed.
It's, weird to think of American pride because I don't know that I'm very proud to be an American right now. I'm lucky to be an American.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful to be an American. I don't know that I'm proud.
And what's crazy is lucky and grateful are not always positive. And in this case, it's kind of not the most positive aspect of it. So I completely agree with you. It's a little tough this year. It's
a weird moment. I just don't want this episode is meant to be celebratory and we're going to have a good time.
But
I don't know that just blindly
we
partying.
We know where we are.
Yeah, we're aware of the context. I guess is
so.
But we're going to drink some beer that is very American. And
we hope you join us, and we hope you enjoy.
Stick around, sit down. Don't touch that podcast dial.
Not yet. You can grill later, or if you've been grilling all day so far,
or smoking meat. I bought a smoker.
Steven got a smoker, so it's all he's talking about.
Listen, I smoked meat yesterday, and it's just I'm not a big bragger. I just need the world to know, like unequivocally, I fucking nailed it.
We'll see about that.
Okay. Let's jump into the news. First up, Hoptown Handles, which is a tap handle company out of Oregon. They are donating tap handles to any brewery participating in the Black is Beautiful campaign. We've talked about this campaign a few weeks in a row. And the Black is Beautiful campaign, of course, breweries are brewing this beer with a communal recipe, and all proceeds of that are going towards charities of their choice. Handles for this beer will be at no cost to any participating brewery. They'll also sell Black is Beautiful tap handles to the general public, with all proceeds of that going to the Urban League of Portland and the NAACP. To receive a Black is Beautiful tap handle free of charge, participating breweries can go to the Hoptown Handles online store, enter the coupon code SUPPORTCHANGE at checkout, and for this to apply, the brewery does need to be officially listed as a participant on the blackisbeautiful.beer website. But it's really cool. It's Hoptown Handles is this Oregon-based manufacturer, like I said, and this is their way of, they don't brew beer. But this is their way of participating in the movement.
It's really dope to see that it's open to the public too. It's not just the breweries. It's like, we'll sell it if you want one. So I'm sure there'll be a few bars, and at least in
TBH, I want one.
I kind of do too. Like, it's really cool. It's for a good cause. I'm sure some bars in like New York City are going to have one or two. Like, it's going to be.
I've got that beer on tap thing in my apartment. I could throw it on there.
Exactly. We talked at one point about getting different taps.
Yeah, I love tap handles. Like in another life, or maybe this life when I have more money, I will collect tap handles. I love them. If anybody's looking for like a gift idea for me, I'm speaking directly to my family now, who's I hope listens to this podcast. Tap handles would be great. Yeah. I love tap handles, especially like nice ones for nice breweries.
I'm sure you can customize them too.
Yeah, that works for me.
That's awesome. Moving right along, the Dixie Brewery is changing their name. Dixie Brewer owner Gail Benson announced the company is going to change the name of the New Orleans-based craft brewery to one that does not reference the Confederacy. The new name has yet to be selected, and they hope to select it very soon. So the brewery was founded in 1907 and unfortunately destroyed by Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Now, Benson and her late husband, Tom, badass moment coming up, owners of the New Orleans Saints and New Orleans Pelicans.
Bang! Exclamation point!
Thank you. Acquired a majority share in the Dixie Brewery in 2017. And a direct quote from the Benson family says, "With an inclusive input from all of our community stakeholders, we are preparing to change the name of our brewery, and products that carry the Dixie brand, and these conversations will determine what brand will best represent our culture and community." They really want to help affect change. Dixie, commonly used to refer to the South, has ties to the Mason-Dixon line, which divided free states and slave states, and $10 notes issued by the Citizens Bank of New Orleans with DIX, which is French for 10, printed on them, according to history.com. Apparently, the Dixie Chicks are also changing their name, apparently, to just the Chicks,
right? The Chicks, and Lady Antebellum took the antebellum out of her name. She's going to be Lady A. And to all the people complaining about this, shut up and wake up, because it's time for a change. It's certain things. I'm fully on board with this, but I recognize that the brewery has been around for a long time. But you know what? So have a lot of things. Look, if you told me that Hershey's chocolate was changing its name to, like, I don't know, Scooby-Doo chocolate, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's
go!
Look, they're changing Splash Mountain. I love Splash Mountain. Deep part of my childhood. And you know what? It's time for a change.
The name of the ride is not going to change your experience of how you are on the ride.
Yes. You know also, I'm pretty sure the name is staying, but the whole Song of the Southeast racism is going to...
but like, it doesn't matter what song they play. You'll enjoy the ride.
Exactly.
Anywho.
Next up, Sloop Brewing Company has been named the fastest growing brewery in 2019. Well done. If you're not familiar with Sloop Brewing Company, they were founded by Adam Watson and their head brewer Justin Taylor in 2011 in a Poughkeepsie garage. Poughkeepsie, as I like to say. Poughkeepsie. And they've gone from selling beer at farmers markets to one of the fastest growing breweries in the nation. In 2018, they opened a 25,000 square foot brewery in East Fishkill, New York, and that allowed them to really expand. Throughout 2019, they slowly added equipment, establishing a higher capacity, and ending the year with 12 120 barrel fermenters in addition to their original equipment. So the new capacity allowed them to produce 25,300 barrels in 2019, which was a percentage growth of 250% as published by the Brewers Association in the New Brewer magazine. Their beer, Sloop Brewing Co.'s beer, I've had it, you've had it, I think.
I'm sure I've had, but I don't remember, but I'm sure I've had it.
Their beer is currently available in many states, including New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, South Carolina, Rhode Island, D.C., and Northern Virginia, along with new additions this year, New Hampshire, Vermont, North Carolina, Tennessee, Maryland, and Maine. But you know where they're not, Gabe?
Where aren't they?
They're not in Montana.
Boom!
It's unnecessary.
But it's so
But the
funny.
fact of the matter is Montana has become the Jerry of this podcast from Parks and Rec. And I don't hate it. And apparently the listeners don't either.
Montana has become the Meg Griffin of this podcast.
Please, if you're offended, please reach out to me and I'll explain to you
why it's funny.
Why I don't understand your state. Maybe you can explain your state to me.
We need a tour of the state.
I don't have anything against the state. I just think it's a lot of land
that doesn't lead anywhere.
With nothing happening.
And finally, last thing in the news and notes, Night Shift Brewing is considering a tap room in Natick, Massachusetts, which is at a gaming venue. Now, the tap room would be part of a Level 99, which is an immersive gaming venue slated to occupy 48,000 square feet of a former Sears department store inside the Natick Mall. We reported a few weeks ago on Night Shift's decision to abort the Philly expansion, so now they are looking for new revenue. And I have to say, so the tap room would be part of Level 99, so you could go. Level 99 is this new gaming experience that people are still trying to figure out. It's an immersive gaming thing. They're going to have escape rooms. They're going to have tabletop games. But can you imagine how funny it would be to chug a few beers of Night Shift beer and then go do an escape room?
And then try to get out.
We've had trouble with an escape room when we were stone cold sober. Like, where does this key go?
I am not sure I was stone cold sober the few times we did an escape room.
Well, which one? The one at the mall doesn't count.
The one at the mall does not count because that was stupid hard. And
it wasn't even hard. Like
it wasn't even.
It
good.
Wasn't like efficient. Like they were like, oh, the keys ingrained in the ceiling. Like, how would we know that?
It was weird. The best one was that one in Brooklyn that we went to.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
That was hands down. That's another conversation. But
doing it drunk would be fucking hilarious.
I love this story, but I also love that it's in a former Sears department store. Is it just me, or has Sears been going out of business for like 25 years?
Yeah. Like, I remember like being a little kid and being like, Sears, yeah. And then 25 years later, you're like, it's still here, but it's not.
But it's not really.
It's been hanging on by a thread for like 20 years.
Yeah. Just so good on them to this gaming company for taking it over. And I hope Night Shift Brewing manages to pull this one off. Be cool.
That would be super sweet.
Gabe, you got a toast?
I've got a toast that is inspired by the 4th of July, I think.
Are you ready?
I think so. Here we go.
All right, let's hit it.
To America, the only group of rogues, gentlemen, and women, and common folk who could say, up yours to a king and get away with it. My country, great and free, heart of the world, I drink to thee. America, fuck yeah! And with that, let's start drinking.
That was beautiful. That was concise, straight to the point, and impactful.
I try.
And I liked
tried
it.
Really hard.
Yuengling's lager. We're drinking their traditional lager. We're not getting wild with the black and tan. We're not going crazy with the Bach.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything weird. We're here to drink their traditional, their original, their number one, their traditional lager. It has an ABV of 4.5%. It's got about 16 on the IBU section.
It's very, very just amber colored, which
24-ish on the SRM chart, maybe, kind of, sort of. Beer Advocate, 78. Okay.
Sheesh.
And 3.48 in Untapped, because everything on Untapped is between 3.4 and 4.
Yeah. They're generous. Made with cluster and cascade hops. It's got, like we mentioned, it's got that rich amber wooden color to it. It kind of looks like whiskey.
Yeah, I think putting it at 24 is a little bit generous. I would say more like 20, maybe 21. It's like, it's more copper than red. I mean, it's got a reddish hue to it, but it's more like a nice, rich amber color. It had a nice foamy head. It's got decent lacing. It looks like, it reminds me of other sort of red lagers or amber lagers we've had on the show. Some decent lacing, a nice foamy ring lingering behind.
Yeah, a lot of lacing this side of the glass.
Reminds me of Dos Equis a little bit, just a little.
The look of it.
The look, yeah.
On the nose, I am getting most of that caramel malty vibe to it. I mean, I think with a traditional lager, you can kind of expect that.
I'm getting, definitely the maltiness is up front.
Why am I smelling citrus?
I'm getting some corn, but that's what I was going to say. I am getting some citrus. I'm getting a little bit of hoppiness.
Why?
What's happening?
What's happening? This?
I'm getting some like lighter citrus, like orange, maybe orange peel.
I'm still getting that bread, that yeasty flavor to it. We did read a couple of reviews about some mention of spice. Are you getting that on the nose? I don't believe I am.
Nah, it's more like the sweet malt.
Yeah,
and
100%.
The citrus zinginess is there, but I'm not a whole lot of spice. I mean, not really.
I've had Yuengling a few times in my life, many times in my life. I've never really gotten these. Oh, I mean, I've never spent a whole lot of time like examining it.
Yuengling for me was one that you bought for $1 in college, and you just drank it and shut up.
Yeah. Does it have alcohol in it? Pour it. I'll drink it. Yeah.
Say less.
Exactly. And with that, let's do it. Yeah. Caramel, malt.
Sweet. Follows the nose. Big time.
Big time.
You know what it does not have in it?
What?
Corn syrup.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
And it's not as sweet as that one at all.
It better friggin' not have corn syrup in it. I mean,
but it does have a sweetness to it.
Very light.
Yeah, it's medium bodied. The carbonation, I would say, is on the medium side.
It's not too bad. It's not strong. This is definitely, I mean, I think everyone knows that at this point, Yuengling is like the traditional. You could crush a few of these easy.
Oh yeah,
I mean, barbecue.
It's not. This is not blowing me away with any kind of layered flavor profile. I mean, it's pretty much you get the caramel malt up front. I don't taste any of that citrusness that we were talking about.
I don't taste that.
I think the aromas were a little bit more complex than the taste of the beer itself is.
But I mean, it doesn't like disappoint. I think what you smell is originally what you get minus the citrus, and it's got that caramel, easy to drink profile to it, if you will.
I think it doesn't disappoint and it doesn't impress. It just is what it is.
It knows what it is. It's that classic. Yeah, we're a beer and we're chill, and you can probably crush 1 or 8 of these. And
it's kind of watery to me. The back end is pretty clean. There's kind of nothing lingering in your mouth. It's interesting. This beer, Yuengling Brewery was founded in 1829, not 1929. They're almost 200 years old.
And they're still kicking.
And they're still going strong.
But in 2019, they celebrated their 190th anniversary. Sheesh.
But it does raise sort of the question of maybe this beer. I mean, I've seen reviews from people who were big fans of this beer.
Yeah.
And now they're not as much. What has happened to it over time? Because it's probably not the same recipe as the original one. And that's what happens when you have a brewery like this that's around for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
You know?
It's currently, it's a sixth generational family owned and operated business. It's built on strong heritage and tradition. But I mean, can you imagine just like even the Anheuser-Busch family? Like, can you imagine just growing up as a little kid when you can finally understand stuff? It's like, we own a giant business and we have a lot of money. You're going to have beer for the rest of your life. It's like, hell yeah.
Have beer and money for the rest of your life. Like, beer and money, you're good on.
Not bad.
I don't need to figure out much else in life.
Yeah, I'll find love later. Who cares?
Love will come to me.
Yeah.
You own a brewery?
You are so attractive. Oh, yeah, 100%.
We should talk about the history of Yuengling a little bit. So, I mean, the reason we're doing this, as we said, is that Yuengling is the oldest brewery in America. They predate Anheuser-Busch in this country. They're the oldest, not the oldest craft brewery in America, the oldest brewery in America.
Yeah. They
are the largest craft brewery in this country. You could argue whether you still consider them craft or not, but like you said, they're family owned. They originally were founded as the Eagle Brewery. Again, speaks to them as a patriotic choice.
Yeah, the Eagle. I don't know when the Eagle was designated as like the overall mascot of USA, but I mean, it kind of blends it together.
This is not a history podcast.
Oh yeah, God only knows. Our history teachers from high school are very upset, but they're not listening to this.
They always
who
hated
cares?
Me. But the company changed its name to DG Yuengling Son in 1873.
I'm sorry.
DG Yuengling Son. Well, I mean, I wasn't going to do that.
He did it once earlier.
Shout out to you Andrew Lloyd Webber fans out there. So it's just a company that's been around, almost as long as the country has. Yeah. And they've been brewing beer, the same way ever since. They do have a lot of beers outside of their traditional lager. They have like I mentioned, the black and tan. They also have their premium light beer and their premium beer. They have a light lager. They have a Chesterfield ale. They have a porter. They have a Pilsner. They have an Oktoberfest.
They have a Hershey's chocolate porter. You mentioned Hershey's earlier, Steven. I mean, I think we found your beer.
That is a complete accident. Well, they're out of Pennsylvania, so that makes sense. They're out of they're out of Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Pottsville.
I don't know why town names are just making me chortle today. They also have some retired beers. One called Half and Half. I don't know that I want a beer called Half and Half.
It's
a blend of their porter and their Chesterfield ale, but it creeps me out.
I don't know. I'd give it a taste.
They had an IPL too at one point, but
ooh, nice.
Yeah, for me, Yuengling, in college, there was a gas station near my school that also had a bar in it.
That we got kicked out of once.
Correct. And the bar on Mondays would do dollar beers, and you could just go, and for $1, they would pour you a Yuengling on tap. I'm going to reiterate, that's $1. And I'm not old. This is not like some back in my day. This is like a couple years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not bad. I would give anything to do that. One thing we did want to mention real quick.
Because we could go do it. It's only like 5 hours from here.
I mean, sign me up. We did also want to mention, getting back to the Eagle stuff. Yuengling has partnered with the AEF, which is the American Eagle Foundation. They are basically a foundation to protect and care for the bald eagle as patriotically as they can. Through education, conservation, and rehabilitation, AEF has aiding in removing the bald eagle from the endangered species list. However, these efforts are still going on. They still need efforts from everyone to preserve these species for future generations. They have set up nest cams so viewers can go on their social media and watch the eagles live. And Yuengling has helped the organization host an eaglet release in honor of a fallen service member. So it's really cool and really interesting to see. If you want some more updates, follow AEF and Yuengling's social media accounts for how to get involved and what they're doing next and how they are protecting the quote-unquote mascot of America.
Nice. Saving the American eagle.
And, it's good to save them because they are an endangered species, but not in Alaska because bald eagles in Alaska are like pigeons in New York City. Like there are so many. It's like they like.
Are you speaking from experience?
I'm speaking from experience. I went on the cruise to Alaska with my parents, with my family, and we were in probably Nome, I don't know where we were, but I was like, why is no one going to talk about the fact that there are bald eagles like flying around us?
If I saw bald eagles the way I saw pigeons in New York, yeah, I've addressed on this podcast, I am afraid of birds. I can't do anything about it.
But
That's
think of a pigeon and how tiny it is.
Yeah, I know.
Bald eagles are big guys.
I saw a hawk in my yard the other day, and from inside it creeped me out. I stared at it, mesmerized, but also was like, this is a hawk.
Because he's sitting there going, just open the window.
Yes.
Come on, just open that window just a little bit.
And then he shit all over my lawn and flew off into the woods. Or she. I don't want to make assumptions. I'm getting more of the citrusy flavor as this warms. I am getting some lemon and some grassiness. So I just want to say that some complexity of flavor opened up a little bit as it warmed in the glass, and Gabe rambled on. I'm kidding.
Hey. Yeah, I'm definitely getting the grassiness. Absolutely.
This brewery also is a pretty polarizing one. I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't mention that. They have, like we said, they're almost 200 years old. They have a very long history and a history of dealing with unions. They got into it with the Teamsters. Their employees filed for union decertification in 2006. And as a result, Yuengling didn't renew their contract with the Teamsters, so Teamsters started boycotting Yuengling. Their current founder is Dick Yuengling, and he has spoken as recently as 2013 about his anti-union beliefs, because Pennsylvania is a right-to-work state. And Dick Yuengling has also endorsed, in 2016, he endorsed Donald Trump. Has not done that this year, but in 2016, he did endorse D-Trump.
Oh my God.
Ew.
So there's some polarization there. There's just a complicated and very staunch conservative history to this brewery.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think that comes from just being as old as, I mean, it's a company steeped in tradition.
Yeah.
And that can be a good and a bad thing.
Right.
Felt like that was important to throw out there, is that's a part of this beer. There are people that you and I know very well, that would not drink this beer.
Yes.
We're
not gonna pretend we don't know all the facts. We're here to have a good time, but we're also here. We're not looking a blind eye. I don't know what that expression
turning
is.
A blind
eye.
It's worth mentioning. And if I could speak directly to Dick, go improve this recipe a little bit, because it's fine, but stop giving speeches and go work on your beer. It could be better.
Go work on your site.
It's okay. It could be better. You only got a 73 on Beer Advocate. When you have 78, sorry.
I mean,
when you have a 95 on Beer Advocate, you can
be on our podcast.
You can be anti-union, and I'll still have to drink your beer. Like, if Firestone Walker was anti-union, that would be a real dilemma.
That would be
shit.
That would put you between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, big time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I mean, this beer is crushable, like you said. It's easy drinking.
This is we're grilling on 4th of July. We got a bunch of people. We got a barbecue. We got a picnic. We got a cookout. Whatever you want to do, and it's like
we might be smoking meat, and
Steven, have you ever smoked meat? Yeah, this is the beer to share with the friends and family if you're having a picnic or a barbecue. Yeah,
and if you have a bunch of really,
or if you're in college and you have $1 to your name and you want to feel something,
this is a far better choice than some of the big ones out there.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
Remember when we said we were going to be inclusive? And
we are inclusive. I appreciate all kinds of beer except beer that puts corn syrup in their beer. Drink Bud Light. They don't put corn syrup in there. I know, because they're being sued about it.
Whoops.
Oopsies.
But you're right, yeah.
And while we're on the topic, we will be shotgunning a Bud Light for the 4th of July, and you can find that video on our YouTube channel as well as our Instagram. We'll send it out there. But that's a promise from us to you. Happy birthday, MURICA.
We haven't done it yet, and it's been one of those things like, okay, what screams 4th of July? Let's shotgun some beer. It's like,
should we practice?
That's not necessarily the correct answer, but it's also not the wrong answer.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it just
whatever.
Feels like something.
Well, listen, we can't do anything big because our girl Rona is still roaming the streets.
That's true. And it feels very American to do, and I don't have any shame in admitting that Gabe and I both have not shotgunned beers in
years.
We're a little bit past beer shotgunning age.
I mean,
no, we're beyond that. I think we've moved beyond that. I think that's safe to say. Again, we're not old, but like,
if we're shotgunning a beer and it's not for the podcast, either A, something's wrong.
Yeah.
B, somebody dared us to do it, or C, we're too drunk to realize what we're doing.
I mean, if you've shotgunned a beer and you're older than, I don't know, let's say 23.
Something's up.
And if, okay.
Or you're at hey, listen, maybe you just like, this party sucks, let's liven things up
If you shotgunned a beer more than twice in 1 year and you're above the age 23, I think that you should seek some kind of assistance.
Okay.
Some kind of...
harsh words from Steven.
I can't think of a reason to do that twice in 1 year.
I mean... yeah.
Like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it for the 4th.
You're like downplaying it. We're going to have fun. It's going to be great.
No, it's going to be great. But I'm just saying that it's I'm saying that we are... I have no shame in admitting I haven't done this in a while. I think that actually makes me a better person.
More little column A, little column B.
Like, okay, this is what I'm saying. You and I lived together for a long time. If you came home from work one day,
got in the shower,
and you just saw me just shotgunning a beer on the couch just on a Tuesday for no reason,
I'd have, okay, my first thought would be, why the hell is this happening? My second thought would be,
and I was like, what's up, man?
I'd be like, why is this happening? And should I grab one? Like, what do we do? What are we celebrating? You got a promotion.
And if you were like, what are we celebrating? And I was like, no, nothing. I was just thirsty.
Yeah, that would raise, okay, I see your point. I'd be like,
that's
okay,
what I'm saying.
Somebody had a bad day.
I can't think of a reason. Okay, we've exhausted this topic. This beer is
available,
perfectly adequate, and it's available on the East Coast and apparently not the West Coast.
I was just about to say, don't go back to LA because you can't get it there. And
I didn't know.
We've read plenty of reviews of angry customers who are not thrilled about the fact that they cannot get it on the West Coast. I read a review. It was like, consider yourself lucky that you're on the East Coast in the Midwest, that you get to drink Yuengling. And I was like, I mean, I don't know about all of that, but...
I have lived on both sides of this great nation, and I'm here to report once and for all on the podcast, East Coast beer is far superior to West Coast beer. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
There's beer out there I love. There are good breweries.
Ooh.
But East Coast beer is better. That said... it's not because of Yuengling.
Yeah, they're not. They didn't win anything. So.
But apparently, you can't get this out there. I would never have thought that. If we decided we wanted to do this, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll go grab a Yuengling.
I would not. I would be like, well,
that would be mind blowing. So if you're like east of Chicago, apparently you can get it.
Well, that beer is gone.
Guess we need to get more.
All right, let's do it.
So we're moving on to the Anchor Steam Beer.
Yes.
Anchor Brewing is out of San Francisco, California. After I just shit on West Coast beer, but
whoops.
This beer, I think, is another great beer to highlight in terms of just speaking about American brewing traditions, because Anchor Brewing is largely credited with spawning the American craft beer movement.
Yes.
They have been around since almost as long as Yuengling. Honestly, they were founded in 1896. But they have just such a complex and deep history.
2 words, gold rush.
Yes, they were founded.
That should explain most of it.
They were founded during the gold rush, and the beer we're looking at
is a sexy looking.
It's just pure gold.
Beer. Yeah, it's literally though.
That's the color.
It's really awesome.
It's 4.9% ABV. It's got about 33 IBUs on the SRM's chart I'm looking at. I would
very
say,
clear, very see-through.
Oh, super clear.
Yeah.
Nothing hazy about this. And I would put it like, I don't know, 12, 11? Pretty low. Right?
Yeah, I would say so. It's got that classic. It's been noted as another amber, but it's a little lighter than the last one.
It's lighter than the Yuengling. It's like sunshine yellow, gold.
It's definitely more golden on the side of like light brown.
Nice bubbles streaming up from the bottom. Had a nice head that collapsed, I would say, fairly quickly.
Yeah, my head is still there, but it's very, very it's a very slight head. We got 3 ratings for this one. Beer Advocate gave it an 87. Untapped gave it a 3.49. And we also found Beer Connoisseur. Beer Connoisseur is kind of like our wild card. Like if we can find the rating, we'll say it. But they gave this beer a 92.
It has a blend of 2-row pale and caramel malts in there. It's got Northern Brewer hops. Now, this is a steam beer.
What the hell's a steam beer?
What's a steam beer? It's also known and classified by the Beer Judge Certification Program as a California Common.
Yes.
And it's a kind of beer that they made to kind of compensate for the fact that they didn't have ways to cool down the beer the way they needed to. So
sometimes they did it without ice.
Yeah. So it's made with lager yeast, but brewed at ale temperatures, meaning hot temperatures, right? So it's and then the way they do it in Anchor, and I've actually been to Anchor Brewing, I've toured it and I've done the whole thing, and they pour the beer into essentially a cool ship. It's a giant open fermenter, and when they would always do it on the roof of the building, and so when they would pour the beer in there as it cooled, the steam would come off the beer.
Yeah,
and hence the name steam beer.
If you go on the site, you can see videos and pictures about people talking about how back in the day when they first made it, there was so much steam coming from the brewery, and that's kind of where it got its name from.
Yeah, but so because they use these bottom fermenting lager yeasts at the ale temperatures, the beer generally has a very distinct flavor profile that includes characteristics of both ales and lagers. It is considered a specialty nowadays. It's not something you see very often, but it was originally a cheap beer that was made for blue-collar workers. And you find it in Anchor Steam Beer. I believe that they have a trademark on the term steam beer at Anchor.
I believe they do, yes.
But you find it in a similar variety of beer in other places. Flying Dog has an Old Scratch Amber Lager, which is technically a steam beer. Linden Street Common Lager. Cosmic Brewing has a company Plead the Fifth, which is a quote-unquote common lager. Southampton, West Coast Steam Beer. There's a whole bunch of them. So it's a style.
And it's really cool because a direct quote from the site says, if we didn't have the gold rush in San Francisco, we may not have Anchor Steam Beer. And as you mentioned earlier, for the blue collar workers, some of them, they moved to San Francisco for the gold rush to try and make their money. And then at the end of the day, after working, they wanted a beer.
They needed a beer.
So they went to Anchor Brewing, which was, a hop, skip, and a jump away.
Yeah. Let's drink this bitch, and then we'll talk more about the history of this fine establishment.
Let's give it a little sniffy here. Okay, first smell. I mean, pretty similar to Yuengling. I wouldn't say that exactly the same, but similar.
But I think it's way like fruitier and woodier, and there's like a lot more pine. I get the hops off this one much more than I did on that one. The sweet malt is there, but
oh, yeah, definitely fruitier. There it is. I wasn't smelling it at first, but now I got it. Oh, yeah.
It's, and the fruit is like...
It smells complex. It smells more complex than it looks.
The fruit is like grape, apple, like it's sweet and earthy. Yeah,
like it looks like it wouldn't have all that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But it does, which is interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Like the look of it is gold.
It's like classic, it's a beer. Probably doesn't taste like anything. And then you smell it and it's a completely different.
I mean, you look at it and you're like, oh, it's like a Budweiser maybe. Like it's that kind of color. It's just like clearly see. I mean, we see all these IPAs today that are super hazy and opaque, and we go, "Oh, that's going to be a good beer." And we're looking at this, and it's just like clear.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm still getting the caramel type, the maltiness,
the bread,
the biscuit,
toasts. All right, we're gonna clink these glasses together, live and in person.
Finally, Jesus, took you long enough to get back.
I know.
Here. It's got a specific profile to it. I can't put my.
I mean, up front, I get the malts, kind of smoky. I get the breadiness.
Yeah.
But there's like a dry hopping thing to it.
That's what I was going to say. It's very dry based. It's not. I think this is very similar in the sense of you smell one thing and you're kind of tasting almost another. I'm not really getting too much of the citrus and the fruitiness, but I'm getting the boldness of it. The boldness of the dryness. The hops are pretty apparent.
Yeah, I think I smelled more fruit, but I'm getting more florality, more hoppiness, more earthy, piney thing than some kind of specific citrus. Like I'm smelling apple and grape. I'm tasting hops after the malt. The malt is
first. 100%. Yeah, it's very crisp, but it's refreshing, and it's. I mean,
this is not like Yuengling
you can just tell it's not brewed. I was gonna say traditionally, but it is brewed traditionally. It's not brewed like other beers are. It's very specific.
Yeah,
I mean that's what I'll say.
You look at it and you go, "That's going to be a lager." But Yuengling was a lager, and that I got very classic lager flavors off of a lot of sweet malt. It was kind of watery. This to me is not very watery. It's just not as sweet malt as your standard lager because the hoppiness comes through much more than you would expect it to.
Right. It's complex in its own right.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Anchor Brewing, it was originally founded, like I said before, in 1896. The brewery burned down in the fires after the 1906 earthquake. Yikes. It was rebuilt at a different location in 1907. One thing I love about Anchor is that they say there is no record of what they did during Prohibition, but that it then resumed serving steam beer after the repeal, basically right away. In other words, from what I learned when I was there, the guy was basically nobody really knows what they did during Prohibition, but we were serving beer the next day. In other words, they were brewing beer during Prohibition.
Yeah, absolutely. They
were hard at work.
They didn't have it on file, and you know what? Hey, good for them.
Good for you.
It must be nice. So,
it was possibly the only steam brewing company still in operation at the time. The brewery burned down again within the year.
Y'all need sprinklers. What are we doing?
They were not big on the fireproofing, apparently.
Oh, God.
Also, when you have steam pouring out of your windows in the roof of your building, maybe do it in the basement.
Yeah,
then it'll just catch on fire.
At a certain point, you got to figure it out. And
it was bought in 1965 by Frederick Lewis Maytag III, also known as Fritz Maytag. He saved it from closure. They went through a lot of, you can look through the history of the company. They went through a lot of dips in sales and had a lot of trouble, especially as people started gravitating towards lagers like Budweiser. People started gravitating away from the steam beer. But he moved it to its current location near Potrero Hill in San Francisco in 1979. And this was the first of the modern microbreweries. It was one of the first American breweries to produce a porter, a barley wine, an India Pale Ale with regularity. And their success inspired many other breweries to enter the brewing business.
So Anchor pretty much started the party for different types of beers.
Yeah.
More or less.
In a lot of ways, they did. They were pioneering the steam beer. Then people gravitated away from the steam beer towards, like I said, the lagers and the pilsners.
Right. The workers wanted something different. They wanted to expand.
But, this company has a kind of pretty specific line of beers. They've got their Christmas ale that you can always find around the holidays. They have a California lager now. They have the Old Foghorn, which is a barley wine. Delicious. I've had like all of these because I had every single one when I was at the brewery.
Yeah.
They've got their porter. They've got their Liberty Ale now, which is a pale ale. They have a whole lineup of beers, and they were one of the first brewers to do it.
I will have to say, if you go to their site and look at their beers, they have obviously what they currently have, but they have a lot of their favorites from the past that they these beers are not produced as part of their year-round or seasonal offerings, but you can still, read more about it and see what it is. And I have to say, it's a bit of a tease because some of these beers sound really awesome. Like Anchor's Mango Wheat, their Gold, their Go West IPA, their Blackberry Days IPA, which is a grapefruit colored beer, which looks incredible. They've got their coffee porter. They've got their blood orange blonde. I mean, they've got classics out the ass that they don't make all the time. And it's upsetting, but they've got a brown ale. I mean, they got a dry hopped steam beer. I mean, they've got everything.
If you find yourself in San Francisco after COVID leaves us alone, I highly recommend you take a tour of their brewery. They have these like giant copper kettles, which is something you don't see.
Yeah, that's very
almost
rare
anywhere.
now,
And the guy who's giving you a tour, like for me, he was in this like jumpsuit. He looked like he was like a plumber. Like it was very weird.
Yeah.
But it's just a place that you can tell is steeped in history and tradition. And you're walking around this old wooden building, which I guess could catch fire again. Guys, you really need a brick building.
You just need like a sprinkler system so the water can go off. I mean,
but they had a room filled with just bags of hops with hop shit all over the hops on the floor, and I walked into the room and just the smell of hops hit me in the face. I saw the tanks where they do the open fermenting. I saw the whole
When
deal.
did you visit the brewery?
Almost a year ago. It was in August of last year.
Oh, nice.
So, but a great brewery, great tour. Highly recommend it. I wanted to mention that kind of in direct contrast to what I was saying before about Yuengling. In 2019, the workers at Anchor voted by a 2-1 margin to join the International Longshoremen and Warehousing Unit, making Anchor Brewing purportedly the first unionized craft brewery in the United States. So, yay!
Good on you, Anchor.
Well done, guys.
Not bad.
Fritz Maytag did sell the company to executives from Sky Vodka. In 2010, and then the company was purchased by Sapporo in 2017.
Which is interesting. Isn't
Sapporo Japanese?
So yeah, Sapporo's a Japanese beer.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Well,
they're still making good beer because I like this. This is good.
I actually really like this. Like surprisingly like it. Like it's kind of compared to some of the crazy IPAs and some of the sours and stuff.
Right.
It seems a little boring.
Well, yeah, I was going to say it seems very basic, but
yeah.
I mean, I think it knows what it is. And I think it's just upfront and to the point of, this is what we got.
Yeah, I think that this is a classic beer. And I think it's just like Yuengling in that you could, it's around the same ABV. You could sit around and drink this. I would love to drink this while I'm smoking meat or having a barbecue.
Yeah, this is another. What was the ABV again? 4.9. Yeah, this is another arguable, crushable. At the barbecue, you got your friends around. Let's start drinking.
But the complexity is there. It's way more balanced.
Right. It's not.
Yuengling.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah, you're getting all that sweet malt that you love out of the Yuengling and other beers of that nature, but you are also getting a whole other side of things. You're getting some bitter, you're getting some earthy, you're getting some floral, you're getting some citrus, you're getting all that.
Crispness.
Yeah.
That's just what the word I keep going back to, crisp.
It's really refreshing.
It really is. It's really cool. So, Anchor, well done. Steam is good for something, apparently.
I'm proud. You make me proud to be an American.
There we go. Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July. Thank you, Anchor Brewing.
Happy 4th of July, almost.
Before we go.
Before we go.
The fun topic that caught our eye this week.
Sweeping the nation. So this is specific for everyone who's like has a TikTok, loves TikTok, or an Instagram and has seen the TikTok videos.
Which we don't.
Well, I have a TikTok, but I barely use it.
If you told me, I don't even. My mom asked me what TikTok is, and I said
I didn't know how to answer.
I said it's just another social media thing, predominantly for teens between ages 8 and 16. I don't know how to access it. I don't know. Is it an app?
It's an app, and it's like it's a social media app where you can make a video. It's just like
so. It's Vine.
It's like Vine, but it's like Vine Plus. It's like Vine, but like you know how with Vine it was a loop. It's not really a loop. Like you could just make a video and then it has a beginning, middle, and end.
Okay,
but you can put music.
Whatever. It's what it is unnecessary. But
there are a bunch of challenges.
Yes,
there's a dance challenge. There's a this challenge. There's a that challenge.
And of course, these things make their way to Facebook and Instagram, and so I do see them. And a lot of times I just scroll past them. But if you don't know what the purse slap challenge is, it's thoroughly entertaining.
It's just so good. I don't know who started
who distributes like the rules of the challenge. I don't know. Well, we should tell people what it is. So, all
right.
The challenge is, I guess, it's just a compilation of women that like are
in the driver's seat.
They're in the passenger seat, and
usually they're in the driver's seat.
Well, I guess it doesn't. They're
sitting in a car.
I've seen both. They're sitting in a car. Their significant other is in the next seat over, and they reach into the back to get their purse, purportedly looking usually for lipstick, and then they whip the purse forward and whack the person in the head, which is humorous.
It's made to look accidental, which is funny.
But then they look in the purse and then whip the purse back.
Do it again.
And do it again to the front of their face. And I've even seen people do it a third time. That's a little excessive. But the second one is what gets me. And, okay.
Let's talk about it.
There are some that are fake, blatantly fake, but there are some that you could just tell the guy has no idea. He's just so confused and just like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's so funny though, because in every video, the guy never says anything.
At first, he never does.
He just looks at the girl like, I don't think she realized what she did. I'm going to let it go. And then it happens again, and the reaction is just bigger, and you can just, the look on their face is just like, what is happening right now?
It's like, she whips him in the back of the head, and the initial reaction I would characterize as like, God, she never realizes how selfish she is. The things I tolerate from this woman, like she's just so self-absorbed. They're just like so.
You can tell their entire relationship just from this video.
They're so angry, but they're internalizing everything. They're just staring at her, angry, and then they go back to their phone. Then she does it again, and that's usually met with like a "what the fuck" or like "stop" or like "hey, yo," or like something. And the escalation of that, like. I'm a bitch for these kinds of challenges, like the Harlem Shake.
Yeah.
That got me for like a week.
That was
every time the music hit and do the Harlem, and I would die every time. Yeah. Didn't matter what it was.
Okay? So you're in the front seat with your significant other. If they're setting up the phone, like they're setting up the camera on the dashboard. Like, what other reason are they filming? Like, clearly they're about to do... Like, you're setting up the camera and then you hit me in the head with your purse. My first reaction would be like, okay, what video are you making? Like,
I would like to think that some of the guys didn't notice that happening.
Yeah, which is even funnier.
Make it better. I mean...
They're just staring at their phone. Next thing you know, they get hit in the face with the purse and they're like, what the... Okay, anyway. And then finally they're like, yo, can you stop?
It's the progression of it. Like, it's watching their internal thoughts that just makes me laugh so much. It's just... like I said, it's that progression of this woman is so selfish. Like... Jesus Christ, like, I'm just going to deal with it like I deal with everything else. Then it happens again, and it's like, stop it! And it just comes out in so many ways.
It's funny when, like, the woman plays it off really well. Like, she'll hit him in the head, she'll be looking in her purse, but he's staring at her, kind of like, what the hell? All right. And she doesn't even look at him, and then she does it again when she's putting it back, like... It's just
if they're able to follow through, it's great.
It's so
and there were a
funny.
couple that I'm like, I want to know if they're still in a relationship.
Yeah, they're just bitching at each other.
Because there were a few that I was like, you may have just gotten a divorce, but it was funny.
I saw one lady do it. It was her and her dog. The dog was in the front seat, and of course, the dog's like thinks it's a game.
The dog just thinks he's getting abused or something.
Yeah, but he was still like sitting there, like, you know, happy-go-lucky. He didn't know what was going on, but it's hilarious when they hit the dude in the face, and he's just like, "What the hell?"
I would encourage you, and I'm not into social media, as a lot of you know. I would encourage you to just look up a few purse slap challenge videos because they are funny.
They're on TikTok, but they're also on
Facebook. You could look them up.
I see them on Instagram all the time.
You can look them up anywhere, and you'll get entertainment. You'll watch it, and you'll be like, "All right, let me just see what this is about." And you'll watch one, and you'll be like, "All right, whatever." And then you'll watch a second one, and by like 3 or 4, you'll be like, "I need to see all of these."
You need to see the compilation of them. But TikTok is another app. Like TikTok takes a lot of work.
Listen. You have not even convinced me to get an Instagram yet, so we have one for the show.
That's step one, but whatever.
Speaking of my disdain for social media, guys, please follow the HO podcast on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and
YouTube.
YouTube. We're going to be putting that video up of us shotgunning beers
and throwing up beers.
The 4th. Follow and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those things, and rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts. It helps us help you. We want to make the show better for you, and we can do that if you provide us your feedback.
Send us an email. Tell us what beers we should drink. Tell us what breweries we should redo with other beers. Send us black-owned breweries. Like we said, we wanted to mention we want to feature a black-owned brewery once a month. If there's one that you're dying for us to do, let us know. We are here for you. And we will see you back here for round 28 next week.
Happy 4th of July, everyone. Party responsibly. Be safe. Wear your masks.
MURICA!